Welcome in another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. Let's get started. Welcome into the Dirt Racing Podcast on this special day.
This is the story of my brother who was diagnosed with special needs. Williams syndrome is a genetic condition present at birth which can affect anyone. There are about 30,000 individuals living with Williams syndrome in the United States. Medical and developmental problems, including cardiovascular disease, developmental delays, and learning disabilities, typically occur side by side with striking abilities which include advanced verbal skills, highly sociable personalities, and a passion for music. My brother was diagnosed with this genetic condition before he was even a year old. By the time I was born, Josh had had multiple surgeries, one being an open heart surgery as an infant. When I was really little, I didn't understand that Josh was different than everybody else. However, as I got older and went into school, I saw how a lot of people treated him, and I remember getting so mad because he truly is the most generous, selfless person I know. Now, I won't lie. There were years where I remember being so upset. With his disability and all the health issues that came with it, it felt like everything was constantly about him. This was something I battled with for years, but I tried to never let him see it. I would try to help him in any way I could, such as the right picture. He thought the water was too cold, and I was making sure he didn't slip because he had bad knees. I would help him with his homework, but only if he would let me, which wasn't very often. And even taking him to and from school when we were in high school after a major surgery that left him in a wheelchair for weeks. Josh and I grew very close. We were practically inseparable. I remember strangers asking us if we were twins and then being shocked when we both replied no. I also remember asking my family, what if he didn't have the disability? Their answer was one I will never forget. They said, he wouldn't be Josh. Recently, Josh just turned 23. He has defeated every battle that was put in front of him and came out victorious. Josh attended his junior prom, even though he only stayed for around an hour. He had to leave early because it was opening night of the racetrack in town. And he also graduated high school. What's Josh up to now? Josh is currently the CEO of Chickmagnet Motorsports, where he supervises almost 10 sprint car and ASCS teams. His teams have come together to win a whopping 28 races this sprint car season. Josh also sells merchandise for Chickmagnet Motorsports. All of the money raised gets donated to Knoxville Raceway's Junior Fan Club. Just last year, Josh had earned $600 to be donated to the club. When Josh isn't traveling the country for racing, he enjoys going swinging, listening to music, and eating his favorite food, spaghetti. Thank you for watching.
And he's a good friend, and we're proud today to tell Josh's story.
We'd like to thank Josh's sister Samantha that did the video for her class at the University or Iowa State University. And that's the open. We'll have more with Josh in a moment. Welcome back to the Dirt Racing. Welcome back to the Dirt Racing Podcast. Today we have the man himself of Chickmagnet Motorsports, Josh Haygood. How's it going?
It's going good. Get ready for 2020 race season. I just would like to thank all my fans and family. For all the support. Without that, I wouldn't even be here doing this right now. Or, without them, I wouldn't be doing what I've been doing the last 9 years, working on sprint cars and traveling all around the world. And without all that, I wouldn't even be here.
Hang on. Yeah, that's recording. Next question. First of all, you have, like Wayne Johnson says later, you're the Rick Hendrick of ownership.
Yeah, I can put my name on the list of that, but, right now it's just, another thing that I got to focus on is, getting myself out there and getting my name out there and my motorsports out there. I just want to make sure that I'm the one that's noticed around here, because anytime you go to a racetrack, it can be in Burlington, Knoxville, Donaldson, or Volusia, or in Creek County. Everybody knows who I am, and that's because I come to work every day and make sure that my job is to make sure that I have one of my cars in Richmond Lane, and that's what I want to do.
And then going back, you just celebrated the championship with Brian Brown last weekend.
Yeah, that was very special to me. To have my first championship as a CEO and a owner, and then after that, getting the team owner award from him. He's been on my team the last 2 years, and without him, I wouldn't even be doing what I've been doing for the last 4 years with my motorsports stuff and working on my own sprint car stuff for the last 9 years.
And I know locally you have a couple drivers here locally. How did this all start, first of all?
Well, first of all, I was at the shop because my dad and Larry own the shop over across the street from here. And, I walked in the office one day. Jamie was down in Des Moines. And as soon as he turned around and saw me, he's like, "Here, I got something for you." I opened up the present, and then it had my motorsports on the hat, and then 3 of my drivers on the back of it. That's when it first started with Chickmagnet Motorsports back in 2016, and then it started growing and growing and growing after that. So, Chris Martin came on board at like the last half of the season in 2017, during back in August of that, and and then when I was on the road then after that, when I was on the road with ASCS, Johnny Herrera and Blake Hahn and Harley White wanted to be on the team. So then that's when all that, came about with them being on board, and, just, they, and then, Matt Covington has been on for the last 4 years as well. He came on board back in 2016 as well. So without all those drivers, like I said, I wouldn't even be here without them.
And of course, we'll have Wayne Johnson a little later in the show. And then Brian Holbert, when I was talking to him, we talked a little bit about the Mint with the Magnet. Can you explain that a little more?
Well, it first, first started like back in 2018, and like the first race at Dulles Bowl when Jamie run the whole tour from 2018. That's when all the Minute with the Magnet started, and that's when he's a pretty good expert to ASCS, because he's the announcer, and he does a really good job, and you know, without lights up Brian Holber and Scott Traylor, doing the things with Racing Boys and having their live pay-per-views and with the radios and everything else. Because like I said, I love going to a racetrack and knowing what I'm supposed to do once I get there. And my expectations are just come out here and win, because that's what the fans want, and I'm gonna give it to them every time I come out here. So that's another thing. That's another reason why I love my job, is because the fans, they come here every weekend, buy their ticket, and come see their favorite driver, and then sit in their seats, and then come down and see us afterwards. And without all that, I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing.
We'll have more with the Magnet in a few minutes, as we're going to transition and listen to some other people, some words from them. Let's hear what others have to say about the Chick Magnet. First is Lacey White from the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum.
Josh Hegwood is the most positive person I've ever met, and he's always got something amazing to say on social media. Always look forward to his day-to-day comments.
Next up from the Racing Boys, Scott Trailer.
Any good stories? Josh Hageman, any good stories about him? Josh, he's a great kid, man. We all love him. And he means so much to everybody that works for ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. He's got all his teams he's affiliated with, and he's very passionate about that. He's been raised right by his parents. His parents are awesome. They do whatever it takes to make Josh be a part of everything that goes on in sprint car racing. And that was a great bit that we saw that they did from him a while back. Yeah. I think Josh is cool up there, man. I think Kevin is a good guy. Yeah, he's going to be on in the Thanksgiving week. He's been saying he's been looking for sure. When he did the Hall of Fame one. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be fun. Yeah. And then basically no team changes for the race.
Next up, the voice of the ASCS, Brian Holbert.
Mr. Chickmagnet. That was actually a joke. We were joking around at PRI, and I just kind of mentioned it in passing, and Josh took it and ran with it. So when they were on the tour, we had them in it with the magnet, and it was great to do that with Josh. He's a great kid. I say kid, he's a grown man. His insight, what he has to say, his passion for the sport, it's refreshing. I mean, it's really neat. You get to see, kind of take a step back, and understand why we all got into the sport. And it growed this year at the Hall of Fame with his more than an hour. Yeah, I wasn't up there for that. After 3-6 Nationals and the Ultimate Challenge, I went ahead and came back for my son's birthday. So I heard about it. I heard it was good. Can't believe he has 10 drivers and some of them are on the tour still. Yeah, he's got drivers at Knoxville, ASCS, the Outlaws. I can't remember if he has any on the All-Stars, but I'm sure he will soon. And where would you see on the ASCS?
And personal comment, Josh reminds me why I love this sport too. He's a great kid, so if you get the chance to meet him, I know he's going to be at the Chili Bowl. Stop and talk with him for a couple minutes. It'll probably make you feel better about your day. Anyway, stats for the 2019 season for Chickmagnet Motorsports: 36 wins, and of course the big championship in the 410 division at the Knoxville Raceway. Let's meet the drivers. We're starting with the Oklahomans first. From Glenpool, Oklahoma, driving the 95, Matt Cummington. The only lady on the team from Lindsay, Oklahoma, the 17W, Miss Harley White. From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the 2C of Wayne Johnson. From Sapopla, Oklahoma, the 52 Blake Hahn. And for Bigsby, Oklahoma, drove the CJB number 5 in 2019, looking for a ride, is Shane Stewart. From Albuquerque, New Mexico, the veteran in the 45X, Johnny Herrera. From Marion, Arkansas, driving the 9 Junior, Derek Hagar. He picked up the 2019 410 track championship to 21 from Green Valley, Missouri, Brian Brown. And your Iowa drivers from Ankeny, driving the 44, Chris Martin. And from right in town in Knoxville, the 5J of Jamie Ball. We'll have more with Josh in a moment, and Wayne Johnson will also be airing as well. Now, part 2 with the magnet. In August, you did your first interview during the Nationals at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, my first interview was back in August here on Friday of the 410 Nationals. I had high expectations to come in and try to win on Friday night, but there was a lot of tough competition here during Nationals. You gotta be on your A game when it comes to Nationals around here because there's lights of Logan Schuhart, Jacob Allen, Shane Stewart, David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, and these other guys, and they're here to win. I mean, because if because that's everyone's goal around here is to win nationals, and um, once you arrive here in Knoxville, and you gotta draw a good number and be on top of your game here, because if you don't draw good, you're gonna be behind the eight ball around here, and and plus you got Brad Sweet, last year's Nationals winner, and so and plus Darren Pittman and everybody else that runs the Outlaws around. So I mean, it's and plus it's gonna be tough around here in Knoxville. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow around here, and try to try to start a good number, draw a good number around here, start up front and try to win that, and then try to make it out of your heat, because with you're gonna have a stacked heat race around here, so you just gotta come out here and do your job and try to make it in A main, and because once Saturday night comes, you gotta make sure that you're locked in for Saturday night's A main, and trying to put some good try to put together what the car can do around here, because that gives the crew guys feedback around here. So you just you just gotta do your job around here, and hopefully you can win out here. But like I said, you just gotta draw good, start out front, and try to win it.
Then you brought up the fact with Friday night's format, the mulligan basically the night before your driver Shane Stewart had quick time, and then in the heat race had adversity.
Yeah, sometimes things happen around here. It's not because I mean, you just never know what could happen around here. So you just uh, you know, um, but Shane had a really good car team. Tyler Ray and Dennis Flood, and without them guys, Shane wouldn't. They had another car upstairs, and those guys spent all night getting that car ready for Friday, and we had a podium around a third place podium, and that put us in the A main for Saturday. So we didn't, nationals wasn't what we wanted to have, but same time, we just gotta come back stronger next year, and hopefully we're in that A main again come Saturday.
Yeah, and then but the regular season for Brian Brown here, anytime he was here, was impressive.
Oh yeah, Chad Morgan and Nate and Robert Brian's dad, they do a really good job around here too. Because like I said before this interview, I always want to make sure that my drivers are good to go, and I want because like I said, I'm not out here to make any friends or anything like that, because when it comes to racing, nobody makes friends around here. We come out here for one reason only, is to put a show on for the fans, and then then after that we'll celebrate.
And of course, across the street with Fireball.
Yeah, I love going to Dingus around here, so I mean, because once you walk in the Dingus, everybody knows who everybody knows who you are, and they respect what you do for this business, and for me to put my name out there, and that's just it. this is why I love what I do, and and plus my dad's been around. Before I started sprint cars, my dad and Jamie and Nick DeMoss and Devin Klein raced go karts from at English Creek, and then Jamie raced go karts from '06 to 09, and then 2010 came around back in May. That's when he started sprint car racing from there, and then that's when I started my sprint car career from that. So. Like I said, without all my friends and family, without Jamie and Larry and everybody else, I wouldn't even be able to do what I do.
Do you have merchandise for people to if they're wondering?
Yep. My race pass did my merchandise, but because I was at PRI last year, and that's when I put all that together for that, and then they came on board, and that's when all my merchandise was online, and my race pass did did a website for me. So if anybody needs merchandise or stuff like that, go to chickmagnet motorsportsracing.com or go to my race pass to get your merchandise.
And then just talk about individually all your drivers. So in case you hadn't mentioned who they all are and their numbers.
Jamie Bull is the driver of the White Lightning Motorsports 5J. And Harley White is the driver of the 17W car. Brian Brown's the driver of the Casey's FVP. Charlie Garrett motor engines car. So like I said, without all my drivers, without all my teams, without all my fans and family, I wouldn't even be where I'm at in my life. So, and sprint car racing is my life, and it's been my life for the last 9 years, and I'm ready to go for number 10 next year.
Did you get to see the grizzly bear at the Grizzly Nationals?
I sure did. Back in 2018, I was about to run away from it. It was standing right close to me, and I thought it was gonna either eat me or eat Matt. So I was just gonna be getting on the run, but yeah, to win the first night Grizzly Nationals is it's one of the best. It's one of the coolest races to go to, the Grizzly Nationals, and you just gotta, if you want to be in Victory Lane, you gotta make sure you're there. So, and be on the lookout for a grizzly bear for sure.
You mentioned Chili Bowl. Fans can find you there real easy.
Oh yes, I've been, Chili Bowl is one of the most prestigious races to go to in January. Because a lot of drivers go out there to race, and they want to be in the winner's circle, and they want to be in the main for Saturday night. You just, there's, last year they started from Monday all the way through Saturday, and there's a lot of prelim nights. You gotta, try to start off good and try to be in the main for Saturday night because, like I said, there's a lot of cars, that wants to be in it, but you gotta have a team in the car to do it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of fans out there that knows about me, and I had fun last year at Chili Bowl, so I'm ready to go for 2020 Chili Bowl. I've been counting down and staying focused on that, and I'm ready to be back in Tulsa.
Like you say, Tulsa time.
Yep, Tulsa time.
Any tracks you would love to go to that you haven't been to yet?
There's a lot of them on the sketch. There's a lot of them, like the Kings Royal, the Brad Daugherty Classic. There's some other tracks on the planet that I would like to go to, but I just I love going to tracks. It's if it's a 3/8 mile or half mile or 1/4 mile, I'll be glad to go to whatever's around, and to go race. And like I said, with all my, like I said, racing is my life, and I will, it's not, not, nothing's gonna stop me from doing what I've been doing the last 9 years, and I'm gonna be prepared for next year, and hopefully we can walk out the second championship, and uh, because yeah, so like I said, uh, so and then that's my goal right now is to win another second championship.
This is a hypothetical question. If you could have another driver, who would you want to have?
That's a question up in the air right now. There's a lot of people that want to be on my team, because they ask, and um, so um, right now I just got, I'm focusing on my drivers right now. So without, like I said, this is my life, and uh, I've worked for, you know, I've, it's everybody's dream to come out to a racetrack when they're a small little kid, small, growing up, and, dreaming big one time, maybe that one time they can come to Knoxville Raceway, and you know, I've been living that dream for the last 9 years, um, so, I mean, because it's everybody's dream to come out here and race at Knoxville, so, um, you know, you gotta come out here and dream big, because some people think it's not only a dream, but I mean, because it is a dream. So I've been dreaming about that moment for the last 9 years.
And maybe $150,000 check sometime down the line.
Maybe I would that would $150 would be awesome right now, but um you know but uh you know but that's you know and plus that's the reason why you gotta have a race car and a race team, and truck trailer. You gotta have money for that, and you gotta have the right car, the right team, the right owner, and basically you just gotta come out here and do your job, and if you want to win, that's the reason why you gotta be out here. So
then your Jamie's Truck and Trailer is an interesting story.
yeah, well, one time back in May of 2018, I think. It was either May or June. It was May. I was getting my workout in, and he texted me, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to come to the shop." And he came to my house and picked me up, and we went to the shop. And as soon as I got out of the truck, they my body was on the back of the trailer, sitting by the car, just waving at people. So it's pretty amazing to have a semi with a trailer, and then have me on the back of it. So when I'm down the road, everybody can just wave at me.
Has anybody ever stopped the team and go, "Your trailer door's down"?
No, nobody has ever said that to us when we're on the road. Because we gotta make sure that our trailer's locked. We can't have the door just coming flying down the whole time. So, um, so like I said, man, racing is where it's at, and I'm prepared for 2020.
Okay, we appreciate it. Does your person you brought have anything to say?
You can if you want.
I'm good.
We appreciate, and this is a good Thanksgiving story, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Like I said, without all my friends, man, and family, and all my supporters, I would not be able to do what I've been doing for the last 9 years. And they push me every day to be, and because they remind me of who I am, And the more, that motivates me more is because, they know what I expect, and, so there wouldn't be any motivation without all these people that I have. So, they feel me to be who I am, and the more motivated, the more focused I am, the more ready I'll be.
Warning, in this episode we do talk about injuries, so if you're squeamish, please be advised, and thanks for listening.
Anyways, my guest right now is Wayne Johnson. How are you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great. Just trying to get settled in for the evening. We had a big long weekend in Jackson, a big long drive home, so just kind of getting a little bit of relaxing at home a little bit here.
How was those results?
Well, we didn't win any races, so we definitely would like to have seen a little better finishes. But race car was really fast. We just had no luck, to be honest with you. We had a flat one night, and just track position big at Jackson. It's hard to pass there, and just nothing really went absolutely perfect. But these days anymore, you bet you got to have a perfect night to win races against the competition that's out there nowadays.
You looked good at Knoxville back on season championship.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with both cars. We didn't finish the 360 race. We actually broke a motor, but we got into I think we got up to top 4 there. It was about half the race to go. Thought we had a chance of winning that race, but we broke a motor, and then we ran second there with a 410 to Gio Selzy, and he's been really tough this year. He's won a couple races, a couple All-Star races. He's been really tough, so felt real good about that because our 410 program has been off pretty bad for the last couple of years, but really feel like we're gaining on it now.
Where's your next race at?
Well, right now we're in limbo. We're not really sure what we're going to do next. We're working on some stuff to try to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the year. So really don't have anything set in stone. We'll know the rest of the year's schedule here in a couple of days.
I know you're a couple-time champion of the 360 Nationals at Knoxville. 13 wins overall in the 360 and 7 in the 410s. Which one was your favorite?
Oh, man. I would say probably my most memorable race at Knoxville wasn't even a win. It was, I believe it was in 2002, I believe, when I drove the Beaver car, the Beaver tool car. When me and Steve Kinzer raced back and forth on the prelim night of the Knoxville Nationals, and I ended up winning. I ended up running third, but I think we swapped the lead like 15 times or something that race. So that'd probably be my most memorable race, but probably winning that first 360 Nationals was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I remember the 2002 race very well. Nationals, if you're in the top 3, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. We won a prelim night back in 2008, I believe it was. So that was pretty special. Also, Knoxville is just a special place. Love going there. I lived there in town for like 12 years. I've actually moved away now, but Knoxville's still still a place that everyone wants to win.
I just love being there. It's local, so I get to see it most times.
Right. We've got to come this year more than we have in the last quite a few years. There at Knoxville, we've only bounced in maybe 2 or 3 times. In the last few years, and I think we got to come there maybe 6 times. I think this year. So, and I think they only run 11 races or something.
I can't. It was rain, and we and we saw that even on season championship night.
Yeah, for sure. We barely got that thing in.
And I know I saw you at Nationals. I know
why we're doing this episode partially is the chick magnet's supposed to be on here. Any words about Mr. Josh?
Oh, Josh, man. There's not another one like him, I promise. He loves his racing. And, it's amazing to me. He's such a nice guy, but it's amazing to me the followers that he has already.
Are you still there?
Yeah, did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here. I just didn't check in.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard what I said. I said,
you're saying you're talking about Josh.
Yeah, it's amazing just in the first. I think he's been doing the magnet now for about 5 years. And I'd like to just, I can imagine how many followers he has, just for the chick magnet deal. I bet it's probably more followers than I have.
Yeah, and then I know he was on the tour with ASCS.
Yeah, he's got more wins than most drivers got already this year, with his team.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to do with 10 cars, though.
Yeah.
He's like the Hendricks of sprint car racing.
Tell about the fruit roll up in Mountain Dew story.
Oh my gosh! I took him when he stayed with me for a week down here in Oklahoma, and I took him to the dollar store to get some snacks and drinks or whatever he needed for my house here to have, and because I wanted to have what he liked. Took him, and man, he spent about $50-$60 just on fruit roll ups and Mountain Dew. Loaded basket plumb full.
Then I know you drove in. First time I ever saw you was the 1A car. The Comp U.
Yeah, the Comp USA car. Yep, that wasn't the first car that I ever brought to Knoxville. The first car I ever drove in Knoxville was back in about 94 or 5, and it was the Bobby Sparks 91 car. We came up and run my very first 360 Nationals, and we absolutely were horrible. I think we're in the E-Main or something like that on Saturday. That really is what set this trend for me to want to come to Knoxville and try to do, just try to do better and try to accomplish a win there, because we were so bad the first time we went, and I just couldn't wait to go back to try to redeem myself.
Then you drove the Twitty Bird car, the F&J Construction.
Yeah, I went from the Sparks car, then I went to the Comp USA car, and then I drove so many different cars through the years, but then the majority, as far as big rides, then I went into the 29 car. And I drove the 29 car 99, 2000, and 2001. And then 2002, I drove the Beaver Tool car. And then 2003 through 2008, I believe, I drove the Fafro Motorsports, the 14AJ.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then I drove the H&H car, the 94 car, in, I think, 07, 08, and 09, I believe. And then in 2010 is when I got hurt. And then in 2011, I started my own team and ran my own team through 2016. And then since 2016, I've been driving the 2C racing car.
Do you really want to talk about the injury or not?
It doesn't matter.
If you didn't know the story, can you go through it? I know it, but...
Well, in 2010, I was racing in Elma, Washington, and got in a bad accident, and actually, I won't say amputated, but it was very close to having my foot amputated at the ankle. Went through reconstructive surgery for like 16 hours, and they still wasn't sure that I'd ever be able to use it for about 2 weeks. I should say about a week. And then they could tell it was going to work, and then lots and lots of rehab for about 9 months. And we still to this day, I still don't have the full range of motion that I had before the injury, but it sure beats not having it at all.
Exactly. Back to Josh. Does he ever hang out at the trailer? Or is he all over the place?
Well, it depends. It's just if I'm the only one at the racetrack that's on his team, he'll hang out. But if his other cars are there, he's bouncing all around. And I tell a funny story about him. If you win the race, no matter which driver you're on the team, you ain't got to worry about him finding the victory lane. He'll definitely be there in a hurry. And it's crazy because if I won the race, earlier that day, he might have had a David Ball shirt on. The next thing you know, he picks your lane, he's got your shirt on, he's there. So he must wear about 10 shirts at a time.
Did you ever win the Grizzly?
Yes. Yeah, I won the Grizzly Nationals a couple years ago, I believe.
In case people don't know, the grizzly bear comes out next to you.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. You get a 1,500-pound bear or whatever you want to say, however it weighs, next to you, standing within inches is not very. I didn't feel very comfortable, to be honest with you. Hell, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death.
I seen those in Alaska, and I would be too.
Yeah, you just never know. It's a wild animal, and I had some photographer tell me, "Why are you so scared of that thing?" And I said, "Oh, because he could eat me if he wants to." He said, "All you can do is be faster than the next guy." And I looked around in Victory Lane on the second night. There was a couple guys I could figure I could outrun in a foot race, so I felt pretty good on the second night.
What's plans for next year? Same team and everything?
Yeah, for sure. I can honestly say that as far as Wayne Johnson and the 2C racing team is when the 2C team is done, then I'll retire from full-time racing. I'll probably keep and play a little bit here and there, maybe locally or whatever. But when Todd Kelly decides the 2C team is done, I'm going to say I'm probably going to retire also.
Okay, I have one few more questions for you. Can you talk about the Tulsa track?
Tulsa Speedway?
Yes.
Man, it's been so many years ago since it was even open. But man, I don't really just remember had a lot of good memories there. We won a lot of races back in the modified days, and really enjoyed going over there. Back then, I can remember when I was younger, and we would drive to Tulsa, and it seemed like it took 2 days to get there. And now we're driving halfway across the country in 2 days. So it really wasn't that far.
And it was a weird track too, if I remember right.
Yeah, it had really long straightaways and really tight corners, but as any race car driver will tell you, it's dirt and it's round, so you just adapt to it. And, but it was definitely strange. It reminds me a lot of Brainerd, Minnesota. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
no, I haven't.
It's a lot like Brainerd. It's real long straightaways and tight corners.
And then talk about Oklahoma City if you can.
Well, growing up there, they had 2 tracks. They had a half mile and a quarter mile. And I only ran the quarter mile 1 year. It was my very first year. And my brothers raced on the half mile. And I just couldn't wait to get on the half mile. I struggled with the little racetracks for a long time because, we grew up racing on the half mile. And when we go to the little tracks, I just didn't know how to do it. And then we really excelled at all the big tracks, like at Knoxville and Sedalia, Missouri, and I don't know, just all the big tracks. We were really good, but we struggled on the little tracks, and it took me some time to figure that out. But going back to the Oklahoma City days, man, they tore it down, and the memories have just kind of faded because I drive by there just about every day where it was. Sure have a lot of memories of mom and dad, my brothers, and all the local races that we got to race with. It's a shame that they tore it down because, man, there's a lot of memories there.
I know the promoter from there too.
Yeah, Shane Carson. Yeah,
does a lot of work for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Shane's a super nice guy, super good friend of mine. Known him since I was a little bitty boy. And I remember watching Shane, sitting in the stands watching Shane race. Shane wasn't my favorite racer, but I really enjoyed watching him.
Thanks for joining us, Wayne. And
well, thanks for having me, Marshall.
Yeah, and I hope to see you soon, sometime next year.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be back in Knoxville as soon as they'll open up and get us a race. I'm sure we'll be back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Wayne Johnson for being on the show.
Okay, some updates. There will be shows week of December 2nd and the week of December 9th. And after that, the next show will be the best of for 2019, either the December 26th or December 27th. The first show of 2020 will be on the week of January 6th. You can find us on Facebook. Search for the Dirt Racing Podcast. On Twitter at Dirt_podcast. And always, thanks for tuning in. This has been another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to another edition of the Racing Podcast.